Tonight, thousands of homes left in the cold as temperatures plunge. The gas was cut off in part of North London after a water main burst, and both residents and businesses are worried.
You know, in a time of economic really downturn, every customer we lose or have to postpone, you know, it's costing us.
Also tonight, why you could end up being looked after in a hospital corridor as the health service grapples with winter pressures. How an escalator, which won't be fixed until the summer, is causing misery for passengers on part of the Victoria line.
That performance for Jodie Burridge, the Brit. She can't believe it. Now it sinks in.
Emotions run high at the Australian Open, but who's the Londoner wowing the crowds? Plus,
I'm in the beating heart of London, Vauxhall, for a new show, and this is your clue. Oh, it's terrible. They're meant to be scissor hands. I'll see you soon.
good evening. At the worst possible time, as temperatures struggle to get above freezing, thousands of homes and businesses in North London had their gas supply cut off after water flooded into the pipes. A burst main left properties in Muswell Hill without heating or hot water. Some residents had to use showers at a local leisure centre, and no one is quite sure when things will get back to normal. Kafa Patter reports.
As temperatures plummet, heating issues arise. And in Muswell Hill, a burst water pipe has rendered the local gas network obsolete.
You can see the water's on, but it's cold.
It's cold.
Basically.
I mean, the rest of the house, I can feel it's freezing.
It's really cold, yeah, it's getting colder, yeah.
Matthew here is one of thousands affected by this problem. No heating means his family are having to travel to his mother's house for hot showers in the morning.
We went to bed and everything seemed fine, but that's when, we'd heard that it would take 3 days to fix, so sort of making alternative plans. And then in the morning, the gas was off completely. And obviously the water's on, but it's just cold.
Amongst the affected are local businesses. For this tattoo parlour, every day in the cold means another day with fewer customers.
I mean, if there's no heating, it's definitely going to affect our business, because people have to get in a state of some undress to be tattooed, and they'll be sat here for a while. We have got an industrial heater, which hopefully will be all right, but if it's not, we'll have to cancel everyone, which means that, in a time of economic really downturn, every customer we lose or have to postpone, it's costing us, and it's not the ideal thing for us, really.
To see the extent of the damage, look no further than this community centre, where lines of locals queue up to collect heaters and thick blankets.
So there's been a leak water into gas pipe, they said, so it's freezing. And they're going to deliver the heaters at home in each flat, so trying to keep warm.
Now, we understand that the burst pipe here has been successfully repaired. All that remains now is to pump out the water that entered the gas network. And it's only until engineers pump out every last drop that heating here can be restored.
When that will be is the magic question, and so far, no clear answer.
So with incidents like this, it's really difficult to put a timescale on it. Obviously, with everything that it takes to resolve it, we have to first take all the water out of the gas main, and then.
She just said, I hope you guys are going to be quick. How quick will it be?
Yeah, absolutely. So look, we're working as quickly and as safely as possible. But as I said, with situations like this, it's really difficult based on the fact that it's a long process.
So, no timescale for repairs, and it's possible the return to warm homes could take days, or even weeks, or even longer. Kafa Patter, ITV News.
We might have to get used to the sight of patients being treated in corridors after a hospital posted a job for nurses caring solely for people waiting on stretchers. The recruitment drive at Whittington Hospital is an alarming reminder of the pressures facing London's health service. Carolyn Sim is there for us tonight. And Carolyn, a seemingly desperate situation.
It is, and this isn't the first time, sadly, that we've heard about patients having to be stacked, as they call it, where they're put on trolleys in corridors whilst they wait to be admitted to a ward. It has happened before, and not just at this hospital. What might be more shocking this time, though, is that Whittington Hospital has actually put the word corridor on one of its job ads. Now, we've had a look at this ad. It's for temporary bank staff to work shifts at accident and emergency, and you can see on the bottom corner of that ad that it says corridor RN, or registered nurse. And one of the concerns about this, among many, is that it could actually normalise the use of corridors in hospitals. Well, the hospital told us tonight that corridors to care for patients is only used in as an absolute last resort. They say they do bring in extra temporary staff to try and make that as safe as possible, and they apologise to anyone whose care hasn't met the hospital standards.
And how busy, Carolyn, is it there at A&E tonight?
It is very busy. Put it this way, a member of medical staff came out here earlier and told me that she describes it as a boat that's got a hole in the bottom of it, and they're using teacups to try and stop it from sinking. Now, of course, the pressures on the NHS this winter are all being blamed on a surge in flu cases. A record number of people are being admitted to hospital with the virus, which is putting more pressure on A&E. The latest figures for Whittington Hospital show that in December, over 9,300 people came to A&E. Of those, more than 3,000 had to wait more than 4 hours to be seen, and 381 people ended up waiting more than 12 hours to be admitted to a ward. Well, we're told that NHS England are going to start reporting the numbers of patients who are being cared for in corridors in their weekly updates. So that will give us a clearer picture of just how much London's hospitals are struggling this winter.
OK, Carolyn Sim, thank you very much. Thank you. A second man has been charged with helping former soldier Daniel Khalif after he escaped from prison. Adil Khan from Waltham Forest has also been charged with having a phone in prison. Daniel Khalif escaped from Wandsworth Prison in 2023 by tying himself to the underside of a food lorry. Two Just Stop Oil supporters defaced Charles Darwin's grave at Westminster Abbey today. Alison Lee and Di Bly are accused of spray painting the memorial. Police confirmed 2 women were arrested. And Heathrow Airport broke the record last year for annual passenger numbers. Nearly 84 million people travelled through the airport's terminals, nearly 5 million more than in 2023. Now, the year's got off to a bad start for some commuters who've been forced to walk down a long tube escalator that won't be fixed until the summer. Local MP Stella Creasy shared footage of crowds queuing back to the station entrance at Blackhorse Road. Here's our political correspondent, Simon Harris.
Commuters using Blackhorse Road station are getting their steps in, whether they like it or not. For the next 6 months, the only way to the Victoria line is to walk down a staircase with 89 steps. The 2 escalators need refurbishing.
Really great that the works are happening, but actually it's becoming really, really difficult. There's big queues out here going out around the corner.
Soon I'm going to be going on a long haul trip back to New Zealand. I've got all these suitcases, so I'm going to have to find another way.
Especially actually with like TfL prices being so high now, everything going up, you kind of expect the services to work a little bit better.
Lucy, who works with the victims of sexual violence, fears she may have to postpone meetings with some of her clients.
I'm disabled. I use a walking stick every day. Obviously, I can still access the station. I can walk downstairs, but that doesn't mean that I should have to, because it's such a painful and tiring experience.
The escalators are being worked on one at a time, so until July, only the up escalator will be in use. Transport for London apologised for the disruption, but said the maintenance work on the escalator was essential. It suggested passengers who can't manage the stairs should catch a bus to Walthamstow Central or Tottenham Hale. But Victoria Line trains were giving out conflicting messages.
Tottenham Hale has no step-free access.
TfL's website also said step-free access wasn't available, but other trains told a different story.
This station has step-free access.
In fact, when ITV News visited the station today, the lift was working.
Disabled people make up 1 in 4 people in the UK. So this isn't a niche issue. And we are paying taxes into a transport system and infrastructure that is really for non-disabled people rather than for us.
The queue for the stairs at Blackhorse Road was filmed by Walthamstow's MP, who met TfL officials today with a series of questions.
Could the escalators be reversed during rush hour? Could they put on extra buses? Could we vary the condition that means you can only get 2 buggies on a bus at any one time? Can we make it easier for wheelchair users? We've given them a lot of questions, a lot of queries about porters and things that they could do to help. It's up to them now to respond.
TfL said it wasn't safe to reverse the up escalator during the morning rush hour because it could lead to overcrowding on the platforms. Simon Harris, ITV News, Walthamstow.
Still to come on the programme, one to watch, the Londoner off to a flying start at the Australian Open. And we'll be speaking to one of the stars of Wall Street, of The Wolf of Wall Street and TV series such as The Handmaid's Tale, Stephen Kunken, who is getting ready to tread the boards of the West End. But first, we've all watched in horror as the wildfires destroy vast areas of California, and the battle is far from over. Nick Hong has been watching the story unfold from his home in South London. His cousin Andy is a firefighter in California who, against all the odds, saved a home from being consumed by the flames. And he's just been reunited with its very relieved owner. Here's Antoine Allen.
For days, wildfires have gripped LA. Despite fierce flames, real-life heroes are saving lives and possessions, one house at a time. Residents like Farhad evacuated. Today he returned to his street, uncertain of how much of his home would still be intact.
It's shocking. People here, I knew a whole bunch of them. Huge building here is gone.
ITV News brought Farhad to firefighter Andy Chan, who was personally thanked by the architect for saving his home.
It's a miracle. What you guys have done is a miracle. I'm an architect. I'm here to help rebuild. Maybe you saved my life for that reason. I don't know, but I intend to make something out of it for sure. Thank you so much.
When Andy isn't fighting fires, he was the best man at his cousin Nick Hong's wedding. Nick has been watching the news from his home in Stockwell with pride and fear, hoping his cousin remains safe.
He's also got 2 little kids as well, so he's risking his life to save Ada. And he's always had a very good heart, like helping Ada and saving. And even he was the best man to my wedding as well. And so even when he came over, he was helping me with the wedding suits and stuff.
Strong winds and a lack of water mean Andy and the other firefighters' efforts are against the odds. The thanks from grateful residents help keep spirits high. Antoine Allen, ITV News.
And you can see a special extended report from Robert Moore in California on the ITV News at 7 p.m. Now let's find out what else is on the evening news with Mary.
Coming up on the ITV Evening News, an abusive man has been cleared of the manslaughter of his girlfriend who took her own life. But Ryan Wellings was convicted of assault and prolonged domestic violence towards Kiana Dawes. The death toll in Los Angeles continues to climb and the emergency isn't over yet, with the authorities bracing for worsening fire conditions. And here, car park companies may give customers longer to pay for their tickets after a review of the rules. Would you join me for those stories and more at 6:30?
Now let's take a look at the sport.
Xero Accounting Software sponsors ITV Regional Sports Report.
The FA Cup continues tonight with Millwall versus Dagenham and Redbridge. It's the first time in over a decade since the teams have met. The winner will play Leeds United in the 4th round. Elsewhere, Arsenal lost 5-3 on penalties against Manchester United last night. Boss Mikel Arteta said it was incredible the Gunners didn't win after Gabriel Martinelli's first half strike was ruled offside. Also knocked out were Bromley, who lost 3-1 against Newcastle United. Despite taking an early lead, Newcastle managed to pull away in the second half. And Crystal Palace have earned a place in the FA Cup fourth round after beating League One Stockport at Selhurst Park. The win makes it 4 games unbeaten in all competitions. Now, this could be Britain's year to shine at the Australian Open. All eyes, of course, will be on Surrey's Jack Draper and Emma Raducanu. But there's a new name to watch out for, and she's already off to a winning start. Here's Rags Martel.
A celebration followed by a cry. But these were happy tears for Jodie Burrage, a comeback win after injury.
Very, very happy with today. Yeah, got a little bit emotional at the end. There was a lot of hard work that went into today. Yeah, one of the best wins of my career. And I think, you know, the emotion that came out after showed that.
This was Jodie 9 months ago after wrist surgery. Her injury so severe she was considering retiring from the game. But the Kingston player spent months getting back to fitness at the National Tennis Centre in West London.
Staying in London at NTC for 6 months is not where anyone wants to be, as much as, you know, I do love it there. All of those emotions from the last 9 months, I think, yeah, were bottled up in there.
The 25-year-old beat French qualifier Leolia Jean-Jean in straight sets, but now faces the informed top American Coco Gauff. Also coming back from injury, the men's British number 1. A hip problem meant he missed all the pre-season training, but despite going down 2-1 against the Argentine Mariano Navone, the Londoner battled on to win in 5 long sets. Even sitting down for his post-match interview looked exhausting.
Wasn't pretty at all. It was not nowhere near my best, but sometimes, you know, it's about showing some heart, and you know, I'm really proud of that today. I think that's a big win.
Fellow Londoner Harriet Dart picked up a calf injury during her match against the Croatian Jana Fett, but saved 2 match points and more tears to make it to the second round, though she struggled to walk off court. And Emma Raducanu says she was bitten by ants ahead of her first match, but refused treatment over fears of a possible doping contravention.
You know, someone was like giving me this like antiseptic spray and, you know, natural to try and ease the bites, but I didn't want to take it, you know, I didn't want to spray it, so I was just like left there with my swollen ankle and hand, and I was like, I'm just going to tough it out because I don't want to risk it. So.
Emma plays her first match tomorrow. Rags Martel, ITV News.
Now, from starring in films including The Wolf of Wall Street and TV series such as The Handmaid's Tale, Stephen Kunken is a name known to millions around the world. And the American actor is thrilling audiences in London too, with a tense political drama about a big agreement in tackling climate change. Cast your mind back to 1997 in what became the Kyoto Protocol. Before we meet Stephen, let's take a look at the play.
I think we can all agree on one thing. The times you live in are truly awful. There's food shortages, runaway inflation, culture wars, real wars, race riots, fake news, insane insurrections, global pandemics, and on top of all of that, the planet in literal meltdown.
So I've just got to start by saying a play about a treaty about climate change, not the easiest thing.
No, I think, I think you think when that starts that's going to be very, very dry. So I think what you do is you go out and you get 2 of the best directors in Stephen Daldry and Justin Martin, and 2 fantastic playwrights in Joe Murphy and Joe Robertson, who have turned this thing into a real, it's a thriller and a dark satire that unfolds like a farce that anybody, you don't need to know a lot about climate or about the treaty, and you suddenly arrive and you're involved in it in a really, really visceral way that only the theatre can bring.
And quite tense as well, and a lot on wordplay. I mean, the difference when these treaties are about the wording.
Yeah.
And there's a bit in the play where the difference between the words would and could in that treaty.
Could mean everything to, you know, wherever you are in the world. If you agreed that a comma will fall in one sentence, it might completely change the way that you're allowed to travel or ship your goods. And so people are deathly serious about each and every one of these changes.
And one critic described your character as being the man who's selling roast beef at a vegan conference.
I love that.
Is that accurate?
It's truly. I think so. I think you know he's not a paper villain. To make us all realize that dealing with climate is as complicated as it is. You need that person to really have a lot of conviction, and he is a smart guy, and he is really good at what he does, and it's a joy to play him. It really is.
And how accurate is the play to what actually went on? Is it fact? Is it fiction? Is it a mixture of the two?
I think it's pretty dead on. I mean, these writers, and we had an incredible dramaturg, really sat down, and a lot of the people who sat around this UN conference have come to see the play when we did it at the Royal Shakespeare Company up in Stratford, and they were all just sort of agog at how much we got this dead on. So even Don's family has come to see the play, and they too sort of agreed that we had gotten.
OK, so you've worked with some of my favourite directors. You've worked with Steven Spielberg, you've worked with Ang Lee, and of course you've worked with the wonderful Martin Scorsese.
Just amazing.
Wolf of Wall Street. What was it like being in that film? It's so iconic.
It's one of those ones, I mean, I know that it's good when I'm sitting on a couch and I just will watch it all the way through, which I do. I mean, they all have, each one has something that I sort of have walked away with and said, wow, you know, Spielberg is the most generous, and he's also, you know, he finds a way in every scene to do something beautiful with the way the camera moves, and Scorsese is meticulous about making sure that the scene is important and different, so that each one have some kind of, you know, superpower, which is amazing to work with. The osmosis that you get as an actor, you know, picking up those skills is just tremendous.
And what I think I'm going to ask you before we wrap up is football.
Oh, fantastic.
Spurs. I think you might be a little bit of a fan.
I'm a little bit of a fan. It goes back many decades now, and I'm very happy about the way things are right now at this moment. I think a week or two on either side.
I was going to say,
I'm a Tottenham fan, so yeah, it's an up and down ride for us. But
well, I wish you luck. I think it's for Wednesday. All the best with that and with the play. Thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming in. Thank you. Now, she's instantly recognisable for her jet black hair and blunt fringe. Now, Traitors host Claudia Winkleman's signature look has been lovingly recreated with a cake. Amateur London baker Keith Shawville has gained an international following online with his unique tributes to famous faces. Here's Sally Biddulph.
Claudia Winkleman as you've never seen her before. Tic-tacs for teeth and lashings of black icing for the trademark fringe and eyeliner. This is the Traitor presenter in cake form, and it's taken TikTok by storm. 200,000 views and counting. For comparison, here in real life.
Welcome back to the round table.
And on a decorated Victoria sponge. The man behind it, Keith Scoville from Kentish Town, has been making celeb cakes for fun for years. But in December, he started posting on social media, and the response has been astounding.
It's just insane. I did them just for me and my friends to laugh at, you know, and because it brings so much joy to us, and certainly to me, the reaction, to see other people's reaction, and it's all been really, really nice. It just went crazy, and I never ever expected that to happen. Somebody said, "How dare you put a photo of Claudia Winkleman and pretend that it's a cake?" It was like
One of his first cakes was Taylor Swift for his great-niece's 18th birthday. Yes, really, that is her with fizzy laces for hair. Queen frontman Freddie Mercury is more recognisable. And this is definitely, well, maybe, the Oasis brothers, Liam and Noel Gallagher. Keith also does current affairs, so here is the next President of the United States in orange icing. And possibly the most famous couple in the UK, the King and Queen, but also TV royalty in Ant and Dec. All showstoppers Bake Off would be proud of.
Let them eat cake.
Sally Biddulph, ITV News.
I'm told they're delicious. We've all been shivering lately as temperatures fall, so we sent Sally into London, where she managed to keep warm at the Vauxhall Tavern. Here's the weather.
ITV London weekday weather is sponsored by Octopus, the renewable energy company.
Hello again. Well, I hope you had a lovely start to the week. Look at this photo. It's just the epitome of winter, isn't it? So stunning. Now, for this week, it's going to be mostly dry, maybe a spot of drizzle tomorrow. It's going to be less chilly, but not warm. And we've got a lot more cloud moving in and maybe some fog as well. We'll come on to that in a moment. Let's take a look at the rest of this evening. Some clear spells, but also still some cloud around. So we probably won't get a widespread frost like we had last week, but we could still get some pockets of frost as we head on into the early hours and tomorrow morning, particularly in the countryside. And our temperatures are still coming down to 2 or 3 degrees, maybe even colder in rural spots. So a really chilly start as we head on into Tuesday. Your sunrise, making us wait for it, isn't until 8 o'clock still. The best of any brightness first thing. As the day goes on, we just start to pull in more cloud and at times thick enough to give maybe a little bit of drizzle here or there, but plenty of dry weather as well. Temperatures reaching highs of 7 or 8 degrees, so about 3 degrees up, but there's not much sunshine, still feeling quite chilly outside. For the evening, if you've got plans, should stay dry. Again, maybe that thick cloud giving a spot of drizzle, but not too bad, but it is starting to get a little bit murky. And as we go into the outlook, you can see we've got high pressure over us, so that is keeping things settled, but we are holding on to a lot of cloud, some low cloud and some fog at times as well. In terms of our temperatures, they start to come up a little bit midweek, but they just then tail off again as we head on into the weekend. That's it from us all here in a rocking Vauxhall on a Monday night. Cheerio.
Octopus Energy sponsors ITV London weekday weather.
Now, just before we go, while most of us were wrapping up warm at the weekend, some were stripping off and baring their legs. The annual No Trousers Tube Ride returned to London, an event which takes place simply for a bit of fun. It first came to the capital in 2009 and is the idea of an American comedian. Other world cities, including Berlin, Prague, Washington DC, also joined in. But I can assure you that I definitely didn't. And that's it from us. The evening news is next with Mary. But for now, from all of us, enjoy your evening and stay warm. Bye-bye.